Hi, my name is Friendzoned and welcome to the very first episode of Friendzoned Produces. In this video series I will explain each time one track that has been created using the guidelines some viewers gave me using the form you can find in the description. So if you want to give me guidelines to create new tracks, go right here, fill the form up and I will consider them and hopefully create a track using your recommendations. Today I'm going to walk through my track Upset that I created using recommendations from two people. If you didn't listen to it yet, please do so. There's a link in the description. So the guidelines I will follow come from Inès and ICIOFTBITW, who both wanted an a cappella piece. Inès also wanted a piece in 7/8, so the time signature, in E minor with a major resolution, and ICIOFTBITW2 wanted an energetic track. So I created a track using those guidelines, and I'll explain now how I did it and how it turned out. So first of all, the central guideline to this piece is the time signature in 7/8. Most tracks today are produced in 4/4, that is 4 beats per bar, and it usually sounds like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4, like this. 7/8 has 7 quavers every bar. That means that in each bar there will be 7 sort of beats. And since our brains are really bad at complicated numbers, it's usually easier to split the 7 in different parts. So this is also how I started this track. I just messed around with different rhythms and different patterns and found one that I liked. So for example, this is a 4/3 right here. So the beats are separated in 4 and 3. It sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And if you listen to the 3/2/2, it sounds a bit different. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. In the end, I decided to work with 3/4. It sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have our basic beat in 7/8. And you might wonder, but it's supposed to be an a cappella piece and you're already working with drums. And those drums actually come from noises I made using only my body or my mouth. So if I take this kick drum, I created it using only sounds that I made myself with my body. So here you can see the 3 different layers of the kick. The first one sounds like this. It's just me slapping my chest. The second one sounds like this. This is me slapping my table. And the third one is just a voice sample that I pitched down a bit, so it gives a bit more body to the sound. Now together it sounds like this. And then I added a lot of effects. So you can see one EQ here, some compression, a drum bus, more compression, and 2 other EQs. So it sounds like this. Like a kick drum. I did the same for every percussion element in the track. So for example, the snare sounds like this. And I also created this with 5 different layers. So the first one sounds like this. It's just me fiffing in my microphone. The second one like this is just a mouth noise. Third one is a click of my tongue. This is just also a noise that I made with my mouth. And this is me slapping my chest, I believe, too. Without the effect, they sound like this. And with the effect, so some compression, drum bus, the same deal as before, it sounds like this. Like a snare drum. So because I used those sounds, which I produced only using my body and my table for some occasions, I think that we can tick the a cappella guideline. So now we have some drums here, and I'm going to talk about the very first pad that the track opens with. This pad is also made with my voice. What I did is that I just hummed a note and put it in a sampler down there. I turned it into a pad by looping it over and over again. If I play a note, you can see down there that the playback loops, so I can create a long sustained chords all throughout the song. And all of those tracks play different notes with different effects and different volumes. So all in all, it sounds like this. And of course I added lots of effects, some chorus, saturation, delay, etc. to give it a bit more body. Now we have some drums, we have some pads. I wanted to come up with chords next. The way I did this was, I felt like for an a cappella piece it was a bit unnatural to work directly with chords. So what I did is that I just knew that the track will be in E minor, since it was asked in the guidelines. So I just started messing around with different lines and melodic lines that I could sing and that sounded nice. So it started with this one. And then I just started adding up more harmonies and more melodic lines to sort of make it fuller. So this is the idea behind the main chords. They're not really chords per se, or at least I don't consider them as chords, but more like as an addition or layering of different melodic lines. So at this point we have all of this. And I thought that I missed a bit of... So I did a little trick too, down there to get a nice sub bass here. I used Serum, which you might probably know if you're into music production, but Serum has this very nice feature which allows you to take any sample and drag it in. I'm going to demonstrate this with the second oscillator. You can drag any sample you want using those different algorithms. The idea is that you can turn any sample you want in a wavetable like this, and then you can scroll through the wavetable, and you can pick any wave shape that you like. And this is exactly what I did with this oscillator. This oscillator is the same humming that I used for the pads before. I took the same sample and dropped it in Serum, took only one bit of this entire humming, and this created the wave shape that you can see here. Then I messed around with a bit of effects, and also the effects down there, some saturation, etc. But I just wanted to have a thicker bass line, which is not possible to do by voice, like a real sub bass. But I used Serum to do this, so this is also technically part of my vocals. And in context... Don't be upset. Now, if you've listened to the track, you probably noticed how cheesy the lyrics were. That's no coincidence, they're extra cheesy because I wanted it to sound almost like a caricature or almost like a joke. And since I'm really bad at writing vocals, I just went on this website called InspiroBot and other similar ones. And on this website you can generate inspirational quotes. So if I just click generate down there, it will generate a random quote. For example, paintings are not created to disguise immortality, which is beautiful. And I did this on different websites and took the parts that I liked the most. So this is how I created the very cheesy lyrics that I used in this track. So far we talked about drums, pads, chords, bass. Lastly, I want to talk about this last section right here. One guideline I had was energetic, and I thought that this very ending was sort of an energy-ish feel with this walking bass line going all the way up the scale. And it creates also nice harmonies or disharmonies with the main vocals. And I thought it gave lots of energy to the track, especially as a build-up to the very last chord. And one of the guidelines were a major resolution. And this is where I just introduced a very simple E major chord as a final chord with lots of distortion, a very long tail, so that it sounds very majestic. So all in all, it sounds like this. So that's basically it. I think that all the different guidelines were fulfilled. The 7/8, the E minor, major resolution, energetic, and most importantly, a cappella piece. I had a lot of fun to create this track. Thank you again so much to Inès and ICIOFTBITW, who recommended those guidelines on the form that you can find in the description below. I hope that you enjoyed this little walkthrough. Some more will come up soon. And until then, I wish you all the best.